Okay, picking up on US Highway 61 eastbound. Here's another one of these videos that connect to the other ones. Trying to make all the travel videos connect as much as possible. The only one so far that won't is the Man Shack video, and that's because the only thing you would see between Peavine Road and Man Shack, Bayou Man Shack, past Man Shack would be just swamp. I may make a video connecting those one day. You won't see much. We're on Alliance Avenue in Kenner, Louisiana. The city of Kenner, established in 1853 in Jefferson Parish. It's about 68 degrees right now. It's very clear. It's going to be a mostly sunny day. Probably be up to about 75 with a slight north breeze. If you look straight ahead, you'll see the Mississippi River levee. And we are now going on to Louisiana Highway 48 / the River Road / the Great River Road National Scenic Highway / Jefferson Highway. Jefferson Highway extending from Winnipeg, Canada to New Orleans. You'll see the Louisiana Highway 48 sign. Jefferson Highway was established back in the early 1900s, before they started to have numbered highways. So all the cross-country highways, really like gravel trails really, but they were named. You had Jefferson Highway from Winnipeg, Canada to New Orleans. And there are lots of relics of that highway. There's a bus line up in the Midwest called Jefferson Lines, named after Jefferson Highway. We also have Old Spanish Trail, stretching from Florida to Texas. Lincoln Highway, from East Coast of U.S. to the West Coast, starting in New Jersey. Dixie Highway, another Canadian, all the way to Miami Highway. And you'll see Dixie Highway in many parts of the U.S. still. Streets named Dixie Highway. And Old National Trails Highway, which became US 66, mostly, out to California. They all had their own signs with their own colors, but that was abandoned in 1926 with a more sensible numbered highway scheme. Here we have public housing. Get you a good rate there. A lot of this area here is abandoned. Why, may you ask, is it abandoned? Because north of here, and you might even see a bit of it, is the New Orleans International Airport, Louis Armstrong New Orleans International Airport, and they had a bad plane crash in 1982. A jet went up, got caught in a little vortex, sort of like a little tornado. They said it was wind shear, but if you read about wind shear, it's sort of like a little tornado. And there's old Kenner High School. But what happened was the vortex pushed the plane down, and it crashed into this area, into the neighborhood. It blew up, and all the people on the plane were killed, and it killed people on the ground. And after that, the airport got spooked, and they started buying all the land from people, trying to pressure them into sell land, just demolishing the houses, making open space. A lot of people refused to sell, so you'll see wide open grass, and then a house here and there. There's Rivertown, Kenner, one of those failed urban renewal projects. We're going to make it a tourist area, and became a very seldomly used tourist area. I used to go bring my daughter there for the children's theater, but it's basically dead now. They're trying to figure out what to do with it. It's the oldest part of Kenner, downtown, but like so many other downtowns, it's been replaced by newer areas. But this is Jefferson Highway. It's a 4-lane here from Williams Boulevard, Louisiana Highway 49. It's 4-lane east all the way to, well, to where it ends in New Orleans. So 4-lane, or as they used to say in the 1940s, a super highway. But you can see we're right close to the levee. I mean, there's right back there is the levee. And then, so we're in the eastern half of the United States right now. If you cross that levee, you're in the western half of the United States. So, read many articles about that. National Geographic magazine say there's a different mindset between the people, Easterners and Westerners. You cross the river, different way of thinking. I don't know about that, but that's what they said in the article. John Curtis Christian School. Now we're in River Ridge. Okay, so we're out of Kenner, and we're in River Ridge, an unincorporated area. Much of Louisiana is unincorporated, just parish land, and they say it's a town, but it's really no official town. LaPlace, River Ridge. Kenner is an official town. They have a city hall, a mayor, police department. This is unincorporated Jefferson Parish. This is under the authority of the sheriff's department and the parish president. Jefferson Parish, named after, of course, Thomas Jefferson, President Thomas Jefferson, stretching from Lake Pontchartrain south all the way to the Gulf of Mexico, in fact. It's a long, sort of skinny parish. We're at the top end of it, really. You go to the very bottom, you have the city of Grand Isle. Well, the town of Grand Isle, incorporated, in fact. Then the next place you hit after that is Cuba. If you go southeast, or Merida, Yucatan Peninsula, Mexico. If you go directly south, there's that levee again. Okay, so this is River Ridge. They call it River Ridge because, in fact, it is a ridge that runs along the river, a little bit higher land. And if you're on the ridge, it really does not flood. Now, if you're outside of the ridge, it floods pretty bad. So some of River Ridge floods terribly with just rainstorms. There's St. Matthew, the Apostle Catholic Church. And other parts of River Ridge don't flood at all. But some of this, I remember back around 1983 when I used to come down here to a comic book shop to pick up subscriptions. They didn't have anything close to where I lived, and now I just get them through the mail. They're a lot better with their subscription service by mail than in the 80s when they would send them to you torn up. But a lot of this was rural, like what I'm showing you there was just woods. Right around the time I started coming out here, 83, they started building subdivisions everywhere. So I mean, there's no wooded areas at all now between Kenner and New Orleans, but there was some rural little rural pockets. Why, may you ask? Am I heading down Jefferson Highway? Eastbound? Well, we're going to eat. I'm meeting friends. We're going to do our monthly seafood restaurant review board meeting, and today we're eating at Charles Seafood. We've never been there. We want to see what it's like. Is it any good? We were not pleased last month when we went to Lakeview Harbor Seafood. We paid a lot. And I mean, well, let me say I paid a lot. It was my turn to pay. We didn't get a lot. And what we did get wasn't much to talk about. So we would terribly disappointed. But we've heard good things about Charles Seafoods, so we're hoping for the best, or if not the best, at least good. And it's their turn to pay, so haha. We take turns paying every other month. Okay, so you know, this is River Ridge, like I said, and all those streets dead into the river. So it's nice because those people live back there, and then they can go up on the levee and ride horses and go look around, you know, and they go fishing in the river, crawfishing and catfishing and whatever other fishing. And it's really nice living next to the levee. And actually, one day I'll show you there is a little area across the levee. Yes, that's right. People live on the other side. Here we go to Harahan. Harahan. This is incorporated, the city of Harahan, with the police department, mayor, and whatnot. But there are people who live on the other side of the levee. Fascinating. Now, beautiful area of Harahan. I think it's a beautiful town. There's beautiful neighborhoods back there. It's so peaceful. The crime rate is essentially nil. They have about one murder every 20 years. One robbery or burglary once every 5 years. I mean, it's just basically no crime. That's why people want to live in Harahan, and you could say the same for River Ridge. It's an extremely low crime rate area. In New Orleans, the murder rate in New Orleans is dropping. It's not good, but it's going down. It has been trending down the last 5 years. Unfortunately, this golf course to the right is defunct. They said in the paper, people just don't golf anymore. You know, in general, golfers is a dying thing. And so the golf course went bankrupt, and now the people that bought houses on the golf course are worried because they know they're going to just turn it into more houses, which is going to make their property value drop. Oh well, I mean, it's a shame, but nobody wanted to buy the golf course. They didn't want it. Well, nobody wanted it for a golf course. They want it for something else. Okay, that's an awesome neighborhood back in there. And you can live there too for only $400,000 or $500,000. St. Rita Catholic Church. Okay, so here we are in Harahan, and you'll notice these really sharp turns because the river road is following the river, and it's very wiggly, and so you're gonna make a lot of 90-degree turns. We should be coming up on there's Harahan School. We should be coming up on Charles Seafood real soon. Now we're about to make a really sharp turn right here. I mean, it's just gonna go directly south, then directly east. This is Louisiana Highway 48, excuse me. Not US, Louisiana. Now we're going directly south toward the levee. The levee. And you can see some kind of cranes there for unloading boats. They're not called ships in the river, they're called boats. And when you get out in the Gulf, there's ships again. And now we're going to go directly, making another 90-degree turn, and we're going directly east. And this is where we're going to cut off the video because I got to find Charles Seafood. I think I missed it.